to join the team. Iron sharpeneth iron. We may have what you need. You may have what we need. Catch the vision. Join the team. Join Wake Up. Heavy load, heavy load. I got a real mind. Heavy load. Say it again. Heavy load, y'all. Heavy load. Yeah, I got a real mind. Heavy load. We got to lay it right there. Sheila got a praise step on already. Emily, are you there?
Good morning and welcome to Making the Law Work for the People on WIDU 1600, sponsored by Brent Adams and Associates. My name is Emily Hickman and I'm an attorney with Brent Adams and Associates, a law firm here to help you with some of the legal issues you may encounter, from workers' compensation to disability claims to compensation for personal injuries and various other situations. We hope you will call us when you need assistance. I'm also here with Diana Devine, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Attorney Diana Devine. I am one of the personal injury attorneys out in the Raleigh office. I've been with this firm about 8 years, and I love it here, and I love everybody that we work with, and I'm very happy to help everyone who calls in today. 910-888-8888. Then Emily, we'd like to make a special announcement. Emily, if you would come over.
Yeah, Brent Adams and Associates would like to send our deepest condolences and our prayers to the family of Wes Cookman, and the WIDU family for the loss of Mr. Cookman's wife. We are deeply, deeply sorry, and we extend our support to you at this time. So Brent Adams and Associates has several offices across North Carolina. Our main office is located at 119 Bucknell Square in Dunn, North Carolina. We have an office in Fayetteville at 1300 Paddle Drive, Suite A. There's a Raleigh office at 8222 Creedmoor Road, and a Southern Pines office at 105 East Massachusetts Avenue.
Mr. Adams had one in Clinton that is finally manned.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That is been running now. Yeah. We also have a Clinton office. Mr. Adams started this law firm, Brent Adams. He's been practicing law for over 50 years, and during this time he's written several books, including 10 costly mistakes that can wreck your North Carolina case, How to Get Top Dollar for Your Workers' Compensation Claims, The Truth About Medical Malpractice Claims, and these books are available on Amazon.com. However, you can call one of our offices at 910-888-8888 and tell us you're a faithful listener of WIDU 1600 and we'll send you a free copy.
Yes, don't hesitate, call the 8. Alright, so Emily, what do you want to talk about today?
So I was thinking of picking up where we left off, doing a quick run through of things to do right after a car accident.
Alright, so we're going to do out of the 10 possible mistakes that can wreck your North Carolina case. And on page 14, one of the chapters is things you should do immediately after arrest. This is very important. You know, we are particularly in the personal injury field. The most common personal injury is in vehicle crashes. That's why Mr. Adams wrote this book. And again, you can get it for free by calling 910-888-8888. Don't hesitate, call the 8 and just say that you're a listener of WIDU, and we will mail you a copy for free. If not, they're available for purchase on Amazon. So, things you should do immediately after arrest. The first thing is call the police or law enforcement officers if you can. If you're physically unable to, please ask somebody to do that for you. Number 2 is to remain calm. Do not, if you're physically injured, you're going to be crying or hurt and not being able to move. But we just want you to stay calm. Don't show any anger. Don't accuse anyone or try to make them at fault. You really just need to assess your injuries and stay calm. Number 3, call a family member or a trusted friend. Again, if you can't, have somebody do it for you. This is important because, as you're injured, you need somebody to be able to do some of the other things that we're going to ask that should be done immediately after the crash. Like number 4, obtain detailed information. An officer will give you a driver's exchange form or your loved one who's there with you. So that would be really helpful for someone else to be handling all that for you as you're injured and you're in pain, and you might be being checked out by EMS or the fire department, depending on how bad your injury is. Number 5 is refrain from discussing the details of the collision. So don't say, I'm okay, or I'm not hurt, or anything like that. I do know that, like in the crash that I was in, the officer ran up to my window and said, were you stopped? Were you stopped? Because I was rear-ended. And I was like, yes, I was stopped. And that just made me realize he was trying to blame fault and trying to catch me to make sure that that's what was going on. And that is what happened. I was at a complete stop, and she rear-ended me. She got a ticket, and the liability is clear in that case because of that. So you can talk to law enforcement. If you're so injured, I would definitely have them. Sometimes they won't talk to you, or they'll come to the hospital later and talk to you in order to get an accurate description of how the crash occurred. If you don't talk to the officer at all, that's something that you should let us know. We would really like to know if the officer that filled out the investigation form didn't even talk to you about it. Number 6 is take photos, or have someone take photos for you. This is really helpful. One of the things that I always look for when I'm reviewing a case is photos of the crash scene, photos of the damage. There's a huge difference in value in case and damage and potential injuries between a dent in somebody's trunk versus, the entire front end is destroyed and you're lucky to be alive. And they're not just devastating to show to a jury, but also even in mediation and discussing with defense counsel, if they try to minimize my client's damages, those photos, speak 1,000 words. Number 7, have yourself examined completely and carefully by a competent healthcare provider. So even if you just go to the emergency room, one of the things that I've been doing this for so long with trials is that the emergency room doctors are not there to make sure that they find every single one of your injuries. They're really there to make sure that you're not dying, that you don't have internal bleeding, that you don't have some type of brain hemorrhage. Their job is emergency medical care. I do suggest that you, if you're injured, that you go by EMS to the emergency room, but I absolutely follow up with your primary care doctor or another type of urgent care doctor if you don't have one. If you don't have one, establish care with one. If you contact us after that, we can help you find a medical provider. But you need to make sure that whatever medical provider you see, that you describe every single one of your injuries. There's only one chance to get compensation for the damages that this person has caused you. So you have to be an advocate for yourself within a doctor's office. Number 8, report to the driver's liability insurance company. So if you come to an attorney, we will actually send a letter of representation and open the claim for you. But if you're going to handle it yourself, you have to call with the driver exchange information or the crash report. We'll have that information on it for you to be able to call and set up a claim. You can do this for your property damage, particularly that you can handle yourself, or have a loved one handle that for you. Number 9, check your own insurance policy. So you might have medical payments coverage, which is very helpful to help pay the immediate bills. There's payment plans for them to be able to pay out of that, so nothing goes into collections. The only payout in personal injury is at the end when the case is completely resolved, and that doesn't occur until all of the treatment is completed. Number 10, give contact information to the other drivers. So there should be an officer there that does a driver exchange form. Remember, this would be something better off for a loved one that comes to the scene, so you're not specifically speaking with the defendant directly. Number 11 is to secure your car. If the car isn't completely totaled and towed away, then it needs to be moved and parked somewhere, again, this is another wonderful reason why our loved ones coming, to California, especially if taken by ambulance. Make sure all your valuables are taken out so that it's not left overnight. Just to be careful about that. And that's really the top 11 things to do right after a crash.
Yeah, and I'd just like to point out and remind people the importance of not chasing down a driver who is driven away after hitting you. I've seen it a few times where because the person whose vehicle was hit wanted to catch the driver, the officer wasn't able to determine fault because that person was no longer at the scene because they left to find the driver. I'd like to point that part out.
Yeah, if you're hit by someone who runs away, you can try and take a picture or videotape them, but you have to stay where the incident occurred.
Right. And there are other ways to catch the driver, ranging from video cameras from local businesses to people's ring cameras. Just try not to act on that impulse because it could hurt you in the long run.
Very good point.
All right. So I wanted to touch on what exactly a personal injury claim is and the types that we often see at our law firm. So the term personal injury claim encompasses any claim that's made that arises from the fact that someone else has injured you, either your body or your mind. The term personal injury claim indicates that it involves a person, obviously, and this is distinguished from property damage claims, which, involves your vehicle, possibly some other property. So with every personal injury claim, you're always going to have two claims. A personal injury claim for your body, and, that includes pain and suffering, that is pain and suffering, lost wages, loss of enjoyment, medical bills, injuries to your body, treatment, things like that. And then the property damage, which your vehicle and any items that may have been lost in there that you might be able to recover for. A claim for personal injury only arises if another person or entity, which the law treats as a person, like a corporation, for example, an entity as a corporation, is responsible for causing the injury. So a person or other entity then becomes responsible for someone else's injury only if a breach of duty imposed by law. So every personal injury claim involves proving 4 different things. And those 4 different things, if they're met, make up negligence. You've established that there has been negligence. So there's a duty that we all have to each other to act as a reasonably prudent person under the circumstances. And if that person breaches that duty, they're not upholding the duty to act reasonably under the circumstances. And then there's causation. That breach of that duty caused your injury, and that's the damages. So duty, breach, causation, damages. So in Mr. Adams' book, he talks about how all of us as citizens have duties to other people, which arise automatically or by operation of law. So, for example, a statute saying you can't run stop signs. Because we live with other people and are interacting with other people on a regular basis, the law imposes a duty on each of us, as I said before, to act as a reasonable and prudent person. And a reasonable, prudent person must exercise due care to prevent injury to other people. Failure of a person to exercise due care is what is called negligence, as I said before. The courts define negligence several ways, but generally the term negligence refers to failure to exercise care. So there are different types of personal injury claims. And I'd like to point out that we as personal injury attorneys in a personal injury law firm, among other areas of law, primarily deal with the injury side of things. But if a client does have property damage, we try to help with that too. We don't charge for that service unless we're actually asked to file a suit on a property damage claim. And then the ultimate personal injury is death. And if somebody passes away as a result of the negligence of another person, the negligent person would be responsible for that death. And I'll go into wrongful death suits here in a little bit, but that's the claim that would be brought in that circumstance. Primarily, the types of personal injury claims that we see are negligence cases arising out of a motor vehicle accident. Personal injury cases can also arise in many other situations where a person is negligent. For example, slip and fall cases where you're maybe at a store and the pavement is uneven. There are hazards in the way that you didn't see and that the reasonable person wouldn't see. We also have professional liability cases, such as those involving healthcare professionals. And these are sometimes referred to as medical malpractice cases, which is a subclass of personal injury cases, where someone suffered an injury because the professional failed to exercise and comply with the appropriate standard of care. Another one is dog bite. That one's kind of common. The basis of that personal injury case is that an owner of a dog needs to use reasonable care to ensure the dog does not hurt other people. If they have any reason to believe that the dog has what the law calls dangerous propensities, they have a duty, a heightened duty, to make sure that that dog does not get out of its cage, hurt somebody else, to make sure it's on a leash, things like that. And then a person can also be negligent if he violates a safety statute or rule. This is what the law calls negligence per se, negligence in and of itself, basically. And with these kinds of cases, if somebody is found guilty of violating a statute, you don't have to prove duty and breach, because violating the statute already establishes that. And let's see, so, yeah, we handle so many different types of situations. If you happen to be injured in any of these or any others that I didn't mention, feel free to give us a call. We're happy to investigate your case for you and let you know legally what our thoughts are on that.
Yeah. What I always tell people is if you've been injured in any way, in any shape or form, to contact us, call 910-888-8888, and we will talk to you to see if there is any liability on a third party that would be claimed for a personal injury claim. So again, this is Making the Law Work for the People here at WIDU 1600, sponsored by Brent and Associates. I'm Attorney Diana Devine here with Attorney Emily Hickman in the Personal Injury Department. Let's see. Don't wait, call the 8. Mr. Adams has practiced law for over 50 years, and we all have well over a century of combined experience between our attorneys. Mr. Adams has written many books, amongst them the 10 Costly Mistakes That Can Wreck the North Carolina Case, which we're reading from today. Also, How to Get Top Dollar for Your Workers' Compensation Claims. And Mr. Adams' newest book is The Truth About Medical Malpractice Claims. These books are available for purchase on Amazon.com. And as a loyal WIDU listener, you can call our office today and get a free copy sent to you in the mail. So reach out to us, 910-888-8888, and we will follow up with a free copy of Mr. Adams' book. Don't hesitate to call the 8. Also, feel free to visit us at www.brentadams.com or on Facebook. Our expert team of intake specialists is happy to hear from you. So once again, our number is 910-888-8888, and we make things right. Again, if you've been injured in a crash, slip and fall, hurt at work, denied Social Security disability, don't hesitate to call the 8. All right, what else do you want to talk about? Well, we could talk about the very next section that Mr. Adams spoke about, contributory negligence. Emily, you want to explain how unjust that is that we have in North Carolina? There's only 4 states in the country that have contributory negligence. Would you like to explain that?
Yes. So, as Diana said, we are one of 4 states which have contributory negligence, which basically says that if an injured person injures himself or herself, as a result of their own negligence, if their injury results from even the law calls it a scintilla, a tiny percentage, if they're at fault even just a little bit, they can't recover.
I like that scintilla. I tell my clients that it's literally 0.0001% your fault. I'm going to use that word scintilla.
Don't hear that very often. Last time I said this was in law school, but I like it. It works.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Tell them. Keep going.
It doesn't matter how much, how wrong the other person's actions were. This law, and you can even kind of look at it as a loophole, really. In some ways, this law is just not friendly to plaintiffs, people bringing actions for their own personal injury. So that's something that we keep an eye out for, especially with premises liability cases, where if you're on the property of another person, for example, a store, and there's something there that you injure yourself on, like I said earlier, a crack in the sidewalk. If the reasonable person, which is the standard that the law uses here, if the reasonable person would have seen or should have seen, if they knew or should have known that there's a hazard there by it being, for example, open, out in the open and obvious, where it's just right there and you still get injured, that's another example of contributory negligence, where you're just barred from recovery, no matter how serious the situation is and how negligent the owner of the property was being by not fixing it. So
yeah, and in most cases it's not super serious, like with cars. You'll see on a crash report where let's say the officer says this person was speeding, but then this person that is actually at fault came over and hit them, and so but for that second vehicle, the at-fault vehicle merging over at the time, there wouldn't have been a crash and therefore no injury. And we would call that the last clear chance, that the defendant had the last clear chance to avoid the collision. And that is the only saving grace that we have for contributory negligence in North Carolina. It is far worse, as Emily said, for premise liability cases. There is assumption of risk, open and obvious, all kinds of defenses that can be thrown out there. We're pretty even keeled with cases that I've taken to trial with motor vehicles. I think jurors, just any person makes up their mind when they see how the crash happened and who's at fault. And so there's really not a terrible fight when it comes to that. It really does come down to other situations. I'd say, like in dog bite cases, was the person instigating the animal in any way. I've had where it was a stray dog and the person was trying to shoo the dog away with a stick and the dog bit the squirrel. You shouldn't have done that. You made the dog happy is what happened. But the most common that we know is the premise. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I've also seen it where there was a dog fight and the person put their leg in between the dog fight to break it up, and then they suffered serious injuries and needed a lot of stitches. That would be an example of assumption of the risk.
Well, and I think we're about to go to commercial break, and I will be back. Thanks so much.
This is Pastor Reginald Johnston of my Father's House Christian Church. You're listening to Wake Up.
In Washington this morning, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the U.S. is winning the war with Iran decisively and with brutal efficiency. He said today the U.S. will permanently deny Iran nuclear weapons. President Donald Trump told CBS News he's thinking about taking over the Strait of Hormuz, but he didn't say how. Almost a month into the partial government shutdown, more than 50,000 TSA employees are working without pay. There are delays at many airports. Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page is asking the North Carolina State Auditor Dave Volek to step aside from overseeing a tight GOP primary race because of conflicts of interest. Volek denies those conflicts. Blue Ridge Parkway is set to reopen in North Carolina by the end of 2026. There will be a news conference today talking about that. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
I'm Peter Killeen, WIDU Radio News. Mayor Rich Coleman invites residents to the State of the City address set for tonight, 6:30 p.m. in the Council Chamber at City Hall, 433 Hay Street. During the address, the mayor will provide an update on the city's progress, highlight key achievements, and outline the priorities set by City Council for the year ahead. With nearly 100 days in office for the current City Council, the mayor will share where Council is headed and how their priorities are shaping decisions that impact residents across Fayetteville. The State of the City address is a free event open to the public. The address will also air live on faytv.net, Spectrum Channel 7, and on the Fay TV app, available on streaming devices. Cumberland and Hope counties inviting residents to review and provide feedback on the draft Cumberland Hope Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. It's a long-range plan designed to reduce risks from natural disasters and to strengthen community resilience. The plan outlines options and actions that people can take in terms of property and infrastructure. From WIDU Radio, I'm Peter Killeen.
This morning starting out pretty mild with the chance for a few straight showers.
Hey.
Afternoon, however. Overnight clear to partly cloudy and warm once again. First thing Wednesday morning.
You can have a seat.
Oh, and I just switched for another warm and breezy day.
you can have a seat
mid-80s
here.
Wednesday afternoon. The
Okay.
cold front brings an increasing chance for rain and possible storms on Thursday.
This table is
I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the NCN Weather Center. God bless.
Y'all doing all right today?
Yes, how are you?
And we would love to be able to invite everyone to share tributes to our
I
late
have one,
Miss Sandy
but if I
Cook.
run out,
We know many of
Okay.
you want to take time to pause to share with them.
Do you
Therefore,
have a
what we're
restaurant?
doing here at the
Yes.
WIDU radio station,
right
we're
back when
opening
we-
up the phone
when you
lines
came in.
starting on March the 9th through the 13th from 1 to 2 p.m. Asking you to please call in, share some love, share a tribute to them. Again, Monday through Friday, March the 9th through the 13th from 1 to 2 p.m. Please call into the radio station 910-483-6111 or even stop by to share some love. They would love to hear from you. They want everybody to have an opportunity. So we are opening up the station and the phone lines starting Monday, March the 9th through the 13th. 1 to 2 p.m. Please call in, take a moment to share words of love, compliments, how you felt about this wonderful woman of God, and we know the family will appreciate it. God bless. Please share that word. Love you.
Wake up, catch the vision, join the team. This is Pastor Reginald Johnston of My Father's House Christian Church right here in Fayetteville. We want you to wake up and join the team. Behold, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It's good when we come together. We're one body, many parts. We desire that you wake up and join the team. It's good to be a part of Wake Up. Wake up, join the team. We will see you in Jesus' name. God bless you.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated
It's
system.
been going.
Public
It's been
power
going.
systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests
Now,
in
what do
your
you do?
community, providing local jobs and supporting
Okay.
your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public
Okay.
power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Now, all across North Carolina, it's Carolina Newsmakers. Each week, leaders from politics, education, business, and the arts join Don Curtis to share insights and ideas shaping our state. Hear interviews that go beyond the headlines with guests who know North Carolina best. Listen on the radio stations throughout North Carolina and on demand at carolinanewsmakers.com.
I'm from Wilmington, actually. Megan and I are.
This is Deb Cunningham, Cunningham and Sons Mortuary. If you're listening to this, you're listening to Wake Up. Wake Up.
This is Bishop Johnny Ray Jr. of the Church of Worship Worldwide, Apostle J.A. McDonough, 2118 Owen Drive. We are proud to be part of the Wake Up. Come and join the team. Heaven low. Heaven low.
What about you?
3 years, so not as long.
Heaven low, y'all.
Good morning and welcome to Making the Law Work for the People on WIDU 1500, sponsored by Brent Adams and Associates.
This is
My
a
name is Diana Devine.
Brent Adams and Associates, and so they call in. They just kind of walk you through on different scenarios and how the law works for you. You know, what to do, what not to do.
And we've been discussing cases. We also have
Rachel, I printed what. Okay, great.
Just in case, because I think they fall under the second.
Yeah, so I just wanted, I didn't know, but when I looked over it earlier, I was like, oh, I think Rachel's gonna be the one that answers it. Are you good to answer? Okay, that's fine.
It may be reading a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let me know if anything really.
So I'm going to take this tape. We're going to give it
No. Please call 910-888-888. So don't hesitate, call 8. And then we'll go over the cases. We have cases all over the state of North Carolina. We have offices in Dunn, Fayetteville, Raleigh, Southern Pines, and Clinton, North
The
Carolina.
only thing I think you should add is something to cover right here. So that
Yeah.
And
And if you want to, because I'm not sure how many guests, you can put your coat right up. Yeah.
I think we explained that pretty well. What else would you like to talk about?
So I mentioned earlier that one of the personal injury cases that we receive fairly often is called a wrongful death claim. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that and talk establishing the
That's a great idea.
So, yeah, so if someone passes away as a result of the negligence or something else, there could be a wrongful death claim there. And in that case, under North Carolina,
I get to take a picture of my mom later. She's like, what's it like?
So would you want to know where to listen to it?
Yep, I sure did.
Mine too.
I was like, I'm not sending it till after, so I know how it went. I didn't send it, but I was like, maybe just, I'll tell you if it was good or bad.
Yeah.
So the first step in a wrongful death claim under North Carolina law.
Now, what got both of y'all
wrongful
into
death claim must be
the
brought through the decedent if the person
You go.
Okay, well, mine, I wasn't sure what I wanted to necessarily do. I was in college and I kind of changed paths, but I knew I wanted healthcare. And I wanted, I don't know if soft skills is the word, but I wanted maybe not straight nursing. I wanted something more specialized if possible. And I was looking into different areas. Actually, I had a friend that was in the field and kind of just talked with her. She's going through her graduate program. And I was like, oh, that sounds like something I could do, something like kind of encompassing all the skills that I feel like I have, or something I could do well in. I was really between physical therapy and speech pathology, so ultimately I picked speech, and I've been really excited. And I work in inpatient rehab, so I get to work really closely with physical therapists. So we call each other honorary physical therapists and honorary speech therapists. Once you're working with
You
them,
start
all
to
the
add little things here. We overlap a little bit
Yeah.
in each area.
So it's been really cool.
So like in situations where a person has a stroke, where they're needing physical therapy, but they're also needing speech.
And it's nice because we can, like, if we have the same patient, we can chat back and forth and be like, she can tell me, hey, they have these cognitive issues or they have difficulty understanding, but if you present things this way, they'll do better over PT. And we can kind of say what they're doing for us as well, kind of carrying over with their training too.
They prove that the personal representative.
What got you into physical therapy?
I kind of did that same thing. I knew I wanted to do healthcare, and I wasn't sure what area. So in high school, I was like, definitely something healthcare, helping people. And then I went to I took the long roundabout route, but I did pre-physical therapy, and then I did a bunch of shadowing opportunities where I went both here and I was even out of the country shadowing different professionals. And I liked just that we got to spend more time with patients and really build a relationship and see them more often than some professionals, and kind of get them back to what they like to do.
To also hire counsel.
See, I mean, y'all ready for
That, to be fair, that's one of the questions that
Okay.
the first question that they asked, so I did think about it.
I was like, if I can start off calmer with that one, then we're okay.
Yeah. See, I've got like responses to questions to see how off script I end up.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, there's an idea, and I'm like, what about this one? And I call it back.
I'm not going to sign at you bunny trail or anything like that. Just go to the bunny trail.
I was going to tell whoever it is, like, they gonna have to do this, because sometimes I'll just start talking. Bring me in. Reel me in there.
Different questions was give us step by step.
So the personal representative.
Well, I was explaining to my husband last night, I was like,
They're guaranteed.
there's so much I could say here. I gotta keep it. I didn't pull this one.
And to be honest, Omega prefers, you know,
It's normal of the conversation.
yeah, and you know, I mean, as far as explaining, being talkative.
The bond can be.
Because you can have someone go totally in the opposite. They'll just yes, no, you know.
I'll do more than yes and no.
But yeah, Omega is, she's a pro at this.
Okay, we're good. Someone needs to be.
Now I will say, you will have it easier because Omega is going to be looking straight at you. But for the presentation online, you would have to not look at her and look at the camera.
Could we like switch seats when it's my turn?
I think so. I mean,
or when it's her turn, so that way it's easier. Because I'll be happy to just pop up and let Rachel sit.
But see, the thing is, I don't know if you're doing the first half and she's doing the second half. I don't know how.
Oh, I'm doing the second half.
Okay. Yes. So I think so. Yeah.
We'll see if we can do
And
that.
if not, just if you start to see me veer that way, wave at me from
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, Ray.
If I look at somebody else there, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Ray and Lindsay will be here to kind of guide you on that side too. Yeah.
Well, if possible, we can go first. If you want
If
to.
we can switch,
If
that
you
would
want
be
to
the
switch,
best.
that was
I will do the best because I won't forget.
And I tell people, so you have to throw out your southern hospitality. Just forget them. And this is your window.
Oh Lord, that's all we got.
Yeah, right.
That's a whole shtick.
That's the very first step. To find somebody to represent the estate, to establish the estate by submitting an application and then obtaining the letters of administration.
And that's something we can't do for them. We can't be the personal representative and represent the estate in the wrongful death case, right?
That's correct.
Okay, that's okay.
That is
All right,
correct.
so it has to be usually, and who do you usually appoint? Spouse, sister, who do you usually appoint?
Well, the statute has an order of priority, and so if the spouse is alive and willing, it would be the spouse first, and then the heirs, and then next of kin. But anyone can technically do it, and that only happens when nobody has been, I guess when they can't decide and they're not really sure. That's kind of the order of priority, but anybody can. The heirs have to decide, and they, work together on that.
And in a will, you can appoint whoever you want as your personal representative.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. But I've seen parents and the spouse most frequently. So after someone is appointed as a personal representative,
Hey, Paul.
the next step in a wrongful death is to hire an attorney.
Great.
Guys,
Yeah, man.
We didn't want to get
You
lost.
guys have
so we
the
figured
call
we'd
show
come
today?
in.
Yes. If you
Today?
were early.
Smart.
The whole week.
and I'm sure other law
said they had it
as well.
Well,
So
two.
the medical records, accident reports, all the documentation to show that this accident should not have happened. But the other part is at fault.
So you're doing it live?
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm wearing the Ram shirt, I see.
We'll look at the death certificate to
Whatever,
see
man.
what the cost.
See what I got on.
We had to we had to
Smaller policies.
give congratulations to the men and to our girls.
But you needed somebody from Fable to help y'all get that win. You know about Brianna Rolfe? She's from Fable.
Oh,
She
okay.
went to 70, not 71st, Terry Sanford.
Okay.
Yeah, the point guard. She was rookie of the year.
Yeah, so weird.
She went to the right place.
How it has all been streamlined.
Somebody had to win, Paul.
You're right.
I'm just glad we got one of the wins.
Yeah.
I was like, are all the things on the website right? He's like, yes. I was like, well, how come none of the Hornet places are on? He's like, because they don't fall under me and I don't keep up with them. I'm like, so they were missing from the website. I was like, I don't want to direct people to the website. It's not right. But I got those from Becky. Yeah. So I'm just gonna put it in the comments, you know, that people can still, because the show and the radio is still reaches like Hardin County and Hood County, so I want them to know they have rehab options.
The government will need to take all of the money. Yeah, they can even take
So I'll just be like plugging along in the comments, kind of reiterating things you guys say and any like websites or phone numbers or hours or just good facts. I'll be, you know, reinforcing it. So, listeners, wanna say, oh, I need that number, they have a reference. But this is, we've been doing this show for like 15 years now. And
on purpose.
I think this is Rehab's first time doing it.
So just keep that in mind. This is your adversary, no matter how much.
So you guys
At least
can
there's no
brag.
big shoes to fill. Yeah, that's true. They get to keep exceeding us after.
Yes, they have to tell you guys.
That might not know.
Like, we've talked about things that of course affect rehab,
My client only had a $50,000 policy, but he had a underinsured policy on his own.
this will be sitting right there, so you have that easier. Who's who? Oh, I get what you're saying.
More funds.
Would it be possible for us, since we're not talking at the same time, let's just flip chairs so that she doesn't have to remember to not look over there? It's okay, because I mean, I'll
I
be
thought they
scared
go
that
kind of a little bit back and forth, is that?
I have the first half and she does the second half, so, and I don't.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's right.
No, you're fine. You can do that.
Perfect, so, yeah, because I would. Well, I just don't want to get busy talking and I'll forget, so we'll start.
No, but even if you did that, it just depends on the shot that I have. If you're a looker over, then
Well, I'm a looker over.
I said I'm just trying to make sure that
That's right, I got it.
if you do, it looks
Yeah,
like
well,
you're
that's what I
looking at
told
it.
someone behind you, I was like, you just gotta start paying attention to that side, so I don't know. Yeah, but if we can switch it, then that's fine with me.
Personal injury, all day. We're definitely the people that we would like to keep you.
Oh,
Like I
goodness.
said, 1-910-888-8888, don't hesitate, call it 8. Anytime.
So you last one, you're gonna,
We talk
it doesn't have to go on the show.
one of us on the phone that day. And we're always available for.
This morning.
Several attorneys.
And I got it.
Who's available is another one. Mr. Adams is known for calling people on their cell phone, somebody's cell phone, talking to them.
Paul, I thought you were doing sign language. What is he doing?
Randy, they call clients to see how they're doing. He's been doing this a long time. He's the patriarchal.
Well, I will say, my dad, several years ago now, but, my dad was in rehab. He was in the hospital for 6 months, over 6 months. And he was in rehab for a long time, and everyone there was great. And even he had a stroke, but even his, his speech therapist noticed he had another smaller stroke before anybody else because of his swallowing. And she tried to tell him, I think he's had another little stroke.
We've gotten
more and
several
stuff, and
from
she
other
was right. We
than,
tried to not even discharge the resident,
have
because he was going
rejected
to a health
clients
check
because
after
they
that.
refused to accept
And,
their offer. You know, a one day
she's like, I really
one
think,
that I did was,
and the discharge,
that
that same day we got
offer,
discharged from rehab,
an offer, client $20,000.
and he went to Highland House, and
Got
then
out of 60,000.
within the same, within a few hours, he had to be admitted back to the emergency department, because he had gotten pneumonia from, he had had a second stroke, and the swelling caused him vascular.
And a lot of firms
So I was like, gosh, I would listen to yes.
Did he go back for inpatient?
Dude, inpatient again, which was like, my dad never had like anxiety, but like as a patient, his life changed, you know. So it was a nightmare. And then he ended up having
there's all types of laws out there.
coded and had to get a trach and learn how to talk again,
Offered
all that stuff in the ICU. But his speech moments were huge milestones. Like, yeah, like the first day he talked with his trach was like, it was a great day. But, yeah, the whole ICU was cheering.
A lot of times
People were coming around the corner like, what's going on? Because there's an old ICU.
Something hard to navigate.
And it's like, he's had his first word.
Hey, I'm sorry, I forgot to call you back.
Oh, that's fine, babe. Don't worry. How's everybody doing? Really, a few minutes left. Maybe one more intro. So, again, making a law work for people on WIDU, sponsored by Brent Adams and Associates. By Brent Adams and Associates. On this meeting
I feel like they're always doing the yard work.
is Attorney Emily Hickman, also in the personal injury department, and down in the Fayetteville office, and I'm up in the Raleigh office. So, Mr. Adams has practiced law for over 50 years. As a law firm, we have well over a century between the attorneys. We have Attorney Chris Waker in the personal injury department, myself, Emily, and Mr. Adams, and our newest addition is Amy Wabite.
Amy Wabite.
Rápido. Partner and workers' compensation specialist, and Dan Jennings is the partner and security distribution specialist. We are a law firm that is here to help you in the various legal situations that you encounter from workers' compensation.
Ray, Lindsay, Omega, y'all want some water?
Yeah, I get it. You doing all right? Yeah, I'll take one.
I just speaking, I messed up my hand.
I hadn't talked to him. What's going on, man? This ain't, man. I hadn't talked to him that much, but
and Clinton so far, we're growing every
up
day.
and down.
Our motto is
Some work going on.
we make things right.
Next Tuesday. Next Tuesday at 11, Kingdom Impact. So what we're doing this week, we started yesterday from 12 to 2. People either coming by or calling in, giving their, tributes or reflections.
You gonna kick it off today?
But they're going to do it. As a matter of fact, they're going to start at 12.
Well, I'll kick it because I already have one ready to kick. You know I have one already ready.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'll just kick it off there.
Cool. Yes.
Yeah, it's very important. Very big distinction in North Carolina law. Wrongful death is 2 years to date of death. Personal injury is 3 years to date of incident. Very, very important. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, absolutely. Because people assume that because, it might have been a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, right? And then they can miss out. So remember that, because once the statute of limitations is run, there's really nothing that can be done after that.
No, it's a complete bar to recovery. That's another one of those percentages that we talked about earlier. So,
the PT's upstairs.
statutes running, it's a complete bar to recovery, just like contributory negligence.
Right.
Contributory negligence is a special little hiccup when it comes to wrongful death cases, because each party is not there to defend themselves. So that's always a fun legal practice to play with if they try to allege that the defendant did something. They can't. It's a very neat little part of the law. We should research that, talk about that next time.
Yeah, I would love to go into that a little bit.
Just the mic should be this close to me.
Yeah, you're fine.
Just wrapping up real quick. Once a settlement or a judgment is reached for the Superior Court, which is what you want for the case here filed.
Yeah, okay.
The way that the assets
Hey,
will be, well,
I read the thing wrong. I thought today was the day for Sandy.
truncated are not estate assets.
But if you say yes,
The thing is that if people wanted
The
these
funds
things,
and
they
I've got
are
out of town
stated
next week, so I
under
won't be able
what's
to
called
do
the
it.
laws of intestacy, which
And I'll catch
are
up.
laws that come
I've
into
been through
play
it too.
when there
I
is
lost
no
my
will.
way.
And in order to
Just,
that some money
yeah.
that's recovered.
yeah, because they said that when we were doing our magazine, like,
So
Sorry
first
for the
goes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
If the spouse has a child, it's split equally.
Oh, I know.
And if there are only children, it's split equally. And then, there will have to be a final.
Oh my God, really?
man, it's about to not work because they're about to be tapped, that's why.
Just in
Oh, the
case
new time-in thing?
they reference you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
it's not gonna be Osborne and it's gonna be Foxy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, so that's always a fun law, isn't it the first 60,000 goes to the spouse, and then whoever is remaining
How much
there?
time we got? Well, I need to go
Or no?
check on Miss Glenda.
It's 2 minutes till, but you got about 5 minutes.
I'll wait.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really like 7 minutes before we even do anything.
And then, there was
All
something
right,
else
well, let
about,
Ray set me up first.
not
Okay.
intestate,
Okay.
but, oh, isn't there a special way to open an estate, but it's only a wrongful death, like
Sure.
there's no other asset?
Taylor
I'm ready. Whatever you are.
Yeah, not something, it's just the wrongful death.
I'm ready, but my body ain't ready.
I'm not telling you.
You still have to open an estate, even if they're zero.
See, I have your mix right here.
Because the
Huh?
personal.
I see, okay.
The family members don't have the authority to bring it on behalf of the person who passed away.
Okay,
So that's what
you
it's
sent me a form.
And so even if there are no
It's
assets
like
whatsoever,
for the break, the night.
you still have to open it.
You must have sent it in
No,
email.
see, that's just now. All right, we'll get to the end now. Thank you for listening to us, have a great day.
Jeff, I noticed you're like me.